Welcome to the Brooke Cerda talk show with your hostess, Brooke Cerda Guzman. Today it is December 4th of 2018. And, I believe is I think it's like almost, I'm not sure if it's the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Fred Hampton, leader of the Black Panther Party. I saw it this morning, and I got the trial from Netflix, so I've been watching that documentary on the Black Panther Party, and yeah, it's pretty enraging. Just how they managed to, just squashed the resistance. I'm talking about the Europeans every time. And of course, it was a gay man who had it in for against the Black Panther Party, J. Edgar Hoover, again, who assassinated all the leaders of the Black Panther Party until it probably became dismantled, and including the great Caliph Abdul Muhammad in 2005. So, I mean, that's not J. Edgar Hoover, though, but I'm sure it was another gay man. Uh, yeah, just like, yeah, just one gay man deported the most honorable Marcus Garvey. Um, Practically he executed all the black leaders in the 60s and 50s and 60s to the 70s, and until this day probably. The assassination of the Honorable Malcolm X, Dr. King. I mean, like, you name it. Uh, it's just surreal. It's surreal that to know how I mean, they say that it's about making us believe that they got a lot. Like, you know um weapons and all that stuff, and it's true. It's true. It's not about their capabilities. It's about making us believe they have great capability to, and it worked. They like, just writing letters, to the members of the Black Party on behalf of other members of the Black Party, forged letters. It worked. The same strategy they use against Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam. It's just stupid strategies. It's like infuriating. So, I've been meaning to do this video for a little while, and I don't know. For some reason, I haven't done it. I just haven't feel like, I mean, it's just the fact that it's just heartbreaking to see Black Twitter being distracted with bullshit. Like, the last videos I've been making, it's about they continue to, divert the attention from, extremely, extremely important, stuff. Pop culture is always going to be pop culture. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, let me tell you real quick, show you real quick. Let me see the weather, 39. It's damn cold. I think Monday was the warmest day, and I couldn't go out. I felt so sleepy. I don't know, for some reason. And it was like 55 degrees Monday. I went in like, it's prompted me to really, I mean, like, pulling my hairs out, literally. Why? Just like, you know, just talking about interracial breeding, but like Tariq Nasheed the other day, he said that transsexual women are fucking black men. And I say, how? We don't have genitals. That's the whole thing with transsexualism. It's just like, and he was referring to gay people who call themselves transgender, which is a bullshit term. It's kind of like people of color, like POC. They say, well, every time we should know that by now. Every time they create an umbrella term, is it because, they're going to fuck you up. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like these feminists are using, transsexualism to hide the fact that they're feminist and they don't want to have any babies. And you eat it up. You eat it up like a 5-year-old. It's just heartbreaking. I really, um, oh, it's coming up in my Twitter now. Okay. So it's just, I mean, there was another lynching last night in Houston, Texas. Another lynching. We're just talking about the last video about the lynching in Ferguson. The son of one of the Facebook activists, and and you know, I opened the Twitter. This time I'm just blocking. I'm just gonna start blocking. Like, you know, transgenders ain't women, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you've been saying that already for, um, I think it's like, I don't know, 3 months already. It's just that, how, I was, I commented on a thread from Dr. Curry, Dr. Tommy Curry. And, I said, like, when it happened, that they directed our rage, that it was against the colonizers, these Europeans, and to direct it against bullshit, against our old men, or our own men, you know. And here's another, thing, of anti-Mexican, which I couldn't care less. We have our own land, our own country. So people thinking that they're gonna insult us or hurt us for calling us colonizers or gentrifiers and whatnot. It's just like, I'm sorry, our people, my people don't give a fuck. Unfortunately, they are like a lot of Black Americans that are trying to attach themselves to this shit called whiteness, and shit, couldn't care less. But it got 26 retweets, including with mines. So this account, um, it's called Savoy. I've been following for a little while. So he broke up the news about the Savoy show. A black body has just been found hanging from a tree this morning in Houston, Texas. It's the Savoy show. So let's take a look at the news. Why is this? Oh God! Oh God! I see it. It's right here. Oh my God! Are you fucking talking about trannies and women and blah blah blah? It just seemed too much. Let me look it up. I'm sorry. It's like I should have done this before. Um, um, Houston. No, this is from April 26th. I mean, sorry, I mean latest. This is from April 26th. I got it right. Hanging. It is no news about it. Yeah, it's not coming out. February 12th. So I don't know. Let me look at the comments to see if they have any that was 7 hours ago. This is how I saw it. But there's no links. There's no links. But at any rate, I need to continue with my show, so it won't be another 5 hour show. It's just, well, the video is here, and this guy is just, you can go to the savoyshow.com. I don't have the time already. I'm very slow, and I'm gonna be doing some reading, so I need to get out of here. Sorry. So I'm gonna start by reading some wrong thing. By reading some articles. I found 3 articles. I'm not gonna read them all. Hope not. I highlighted some stuff that is just like huge lies, and as I see these anti-Mexican sentiment, still keep growing, which I'm not saying it's because of like, oh, poor Mexicans. No, 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 no. We are more than 125 million Mexicans in Mexico alone, and more than 50 million Mexicans in the United States. So, and plus other 50 million Mexicans throughout the world. So it's not that, I'm not coming from that poor Mexican, we're Mexican, but just to the fact, the reason I'm making this video is because the African diaspora in the Americas, need to be interested in what's happening in Mexico in the next 6 years, because your life depends on it. If we fall, I don't even want to think about what's going to happen to Africans in the United States. So I don't, the way I worry every day, every night about the Africans in Brazil with this shameless Nazi, which is not even a neo-Nazi, it's just a, straight up ultra, whatever you call them, nationalists, white nationalists, whatever, extremely dangerous. I don't see nobody, Black Twitter, not even, saying, like shit, nothing, nothing. And it's just very, very disturbing. I really starting to believe that, the African diaspora in the United States snapped, have lost it, and it's just all this twerking, all this stuff, just in the face of, you know, straight up target. It's that become more and more frontal every day, and shameless, and even less sanction. So it's just that, you know the punchline is that I don't get any views. I don't get any views on in my channel. So I don't know. I'm gonna start putting them on my Facebook page. Hopefully, somebody might, you know, And we might start this conversation. I don't think I can save the world or anything, but might start a conversation that might help. This is the what they call the counterweight to television, so which is nothing, right? Not even the slightest, you know, dent to the system. But anyway, so this one I forgot what it was from. It was a weird publication, which I mean it's kind of like I learned later see that it's kind of like a click bait. So anyway, I'm gonna start reading just to get center myself on what I'm talking about. The scrapers and dreamers on Mexico's political left have waited more than 3 decades for national power, which is true. They've stolen the elections twice. We have elections every 6 years in Mexico. The inauguration on December 1st of Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador as Mexico's president and the wait. The 65-year-old former mayor of Mexico City will be sworn in before a crowd that will include dignitaries from 28 countries. Oh, shoot, I don't have the video. It's in my other channel. I just log out. Didn't leave it ready. Mr. Lopez Obrador, or AMLO, as he is known, it's not Mr., it's President Obrador to you, idiot. As he's known, will don tricolor. I think it's an E missing here. I don't know. Tricolor presidential sash for a second time. The first was in 2006 when he refused to accept defeat in that year's presidential election. And that's a lie. That's the first lie I'm going to put. It was us, the people who was pushing him, because he tend to be, he don't want to waste. People, they think he's a pussy or whatever, those terms they say. No, he is very driven. He's a Sagittarius from November 13. Um, and he don't really want to waste. He's so goal oriented that he don't really. So we push him a lot. In 2006 and 2012 when they robbed his presidency again. So that's bullshit. He refused to accept defeat. That's not true. This time the sash is a real one. Like it's so fucking disrespectful to write about that. But that's how so-called journalists in this country, are so fucking racist that I really haven't seen a piece that is respectful at all. Which is like it's just the same as Speedy Gonzalez bullshit haven't changed one bit. And to see non-white people, you know, uh, jumping on that shit and still, making fun of us, still, taking it out, all the rage that should be directed to the damn crackers, you're directing it to us and to your own men is just beyond shit. It's like unbelievable. I mean, you went through slavery, Jim Crow, and now you are being distracted and just digging your head in the sand. It's just beyond sad. He won with a 53% of the vote, defeating his nearest rival by 30 percentile points. Angered by corruption, violence, and economic torpor, I don't know what that means, they accepted his argument that the political system needs renewal, not technocratic tweaks. So again, extremely disrespectful. They accepted his argument. So because we are stupid, they are actually by stating this, we Mexicans, we don't know shit. beyond disrespectful. I'm glad I don't even remember who this idiot is. I realized when I made a consolidated 3 articles in one here. As AMLO prepares for what he calls the fourth transformation of Mexico, a term suggested that his election is as important as the Mexican Revolution of 1910 to 1920. And who the fuck are you to say it's not? Yes, we're about to have our fourth transformation, which the first one was when we gained our independence, you know, quote unquote independence, because the fucking Europeans still there and their puppets still there, betraying us. And, so, I mean, you should know, we are your next door neighbor. I should not be having to do this freaking video, but I don't see nothing. I see only lies. And none of you, because you are so Mexican phobic, say like, oh, this is full of lies. You can retweet an article that you read. It's like, I know this to be a blatant lie. This is not true about Mexico. But you don't, because you're like, oh, we are your worst enemies, according to the damn crackers, right? That's how much they fuck you up psychologically to think that, their world country is your worst enemy. Okay. He controls Morena, the party he founded in 2014. Another lie. It's just like, it's it's a whole, well, anyway. But along with its allies, it has majorities in both houses of Congress. Critics have gone quiet. This is a blatant lie. Blatant lie. Every day we are being defamated because we don't, you know, we don't control the media in Mexico. I'm talking about the left. I'm talking about the people of Mexico do not control its own media. So it's a very colonial situation. So we still depend on outlets like Russia Today, Telesur, and all the Chinese media, to learn about something that's happening in our country. We don't trust any of the mainstream media still. So we are planning to stop watching it. But our people have very colonized mindset and still watching them on television, which is like, it's a lot of hard work, because we have to be 24/7 on Twitter and social and other social outlets, you know, saying, no, that's a lie, stop it. And that's what we do 24/7. And it worked. Yes, it worked. As you can see, deliver results. But that in a metro card, will get us in the subway if we don't take control of our own narrative, and we start, you know, making setting trends ourselves the way we did during presidential campaigns. So we got to go back and take control of the media. So something is really really hard when people, they still uh, see this so-called journalist um, as, I don't know, what's it called, being sent from God or something. I don't know. In recent weeks, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador have from the retreated from the pragmatism he sometimes espoused in campaign, which have reassured some middle class Mexican and investors. Instead, he pursued a populist agenda that shocked markets, even as it consolidated his power. Blatant lies, shock the markets, shock the markets. They took that, as that was the time when the caravan arrived to Tijuana, and I forgot there was like at least three other events here in the United States that trigger the peso slide. I don't know what the past tense. Um, I don't know, like it was like 10 cents of a dollar or something. It was something like temporary. It was something, but they used that to say like it's the end of the world. The markets are collapsing, and this is bullshit. They don't prove they don't put any evidence. You're gonna see the three articles. They don't they don't name any people for the sources. They don't give any of that. Any of that. They take it out of their ass, or they take it out of their sleeve. I don't know where they take out this shit. I know they take it out from the so-called Mexican mainstream media, which is being funded by the United States. Just so you can get an idea, recently when they released the concealed documents from JFK assassination, uh, as a byproduct, we learned that three of our, um, you know, 19th century, 20th century presidents was straight up CIA agents on their payroll. So three, you know, three of our presidents, I'm talking about from the 60s. Who's the other one? Yeah, 60s, 70s, 80s. We had three presidents that we know of. They were straight up CIA agents. They don't say that in any of these articles, right? They're just biased and whatever. And again, it's just like you say, why should I give a fuck? I mean, it's up to you. I'm running this by you, and you're the one who make your decisions. I'm not saying go start a protest for Mexico. I'm not saying even when I see you over there in the protest for fucking Palestine, but you don't do shit for your next door neighbor. That's how stupid they got you. Totally. In October, he said he would cancel $13 billion dollar airport for, I think that's what I mean, billion. I know it's 13 billion. It was some obscene idea. As you've seen, even France, uh, they had to cancel their airport, their new airport, on quotes, for being obscenely luxurious. And it's a whole trend, from neoliberalism, that all Europeans are building these um, luxury airports surrounded by white neighborhoods, very expensive, gated communities. I don't know how you say that in English. But it's like airport cities. You can Google that, airport cities throughout the world, and you see that in France they had riots, and they were successful at canceling that. And so far we have been successful at canceling this atrocity, and I think it's $13 billion atrocity. I think it will cost us, if they get away with building this airport, which, by the way, they 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 they're trying to build it on a sacred territory. It's a swamp which used to be a lake, the same lake that is in the Mexican flag, uh, which you see. That's where you see the eagle uh, on a cactus eating a snake. That's the same. It's called Texcoco, the Texcoco Lake, which is now a swamp because they've dried it up. And so, for many many reasons, there's been massacres from previous administrations trying to, and the people, we say we don't want that shit over there. We don't need it. We don't want it. They actually held back the other airports just to make up this crisis of the airports. They've done, the last thing they did was to create actions, stocks about the new airport, so we wouldn't be able to cancel it. They lie. A lot of it they say is like, oh shit, it was 13% was already built, and it's not even 15% that they built already, basically, because just drying the swamp cost billions of dollars, just drying the swamp. And the maintenance a year of that airport, based on the ones they built in, I think, London or some shit like that, it would be, I don't know how many millions of dollars a year, just the maintenance. So, and we have about 60 million Mexicans living in extreme poverty, but we want to have this freaking airport to attract, Europeans, or just only wealthy people, because nobody, I mean, I will question really, how many people have really money to use these airports to arrive, because I'm sure it's a special fee, if you arrive at a luxury airport than if you arrive at a regular airport. So yeah, it says one third already built. Lies, lies, so lies. I mean, you can look it up for yourself. It's the new airport of Mexico City, Naim. That's how the initials are. That decision came after 1% of Mexican voters took part in a consulta, organized by Morena, which is our political party. That means a movement for national regeneration. That's what it stands for. And we admit, or at least we're trying to get everybody to admit, we have degenerated into a mass um, grave, into a mass, criminal activity and whatnot. So this is why the movement started first as a movement, and 4 years ago we got our political party affiliation papers. So it's basically, we want to keep that to be a movement more than a political party, because this is like we have to change from inside out. Capitalism or neoliberalism, whatever you want to call it, Eurocentrism too, have left us, with a lot of like crime. The moral fiber of our society, it's already gone. People will like y- shoot you for practically nothing. I really kind of like feel like when they say, the black on black violence, my country make it look like Disneyland compared to how much crime it is right now as a result of, starving the masses. So it became, no man's land. And this is like I say, I'm just telling you, they stole the presidency from us. And even before that, they stole the presidency from other presidential candidates who was for the people, including the son of President Lázaro Cárdenas, the one who nationalized our oil. I don't know if you know about that. In right before the World War II exploded, we said enough is enough. With this, stealing our oil. So our president Lázaro Cárdenas said, we're going nationalizing our oil because it belonged to the Mexican people, not to you. So they was about to come and strike and begin war against Mexico, but thank God World War II began. So this time we was able to get away with a lot of stuff too, because we had midterm elections at the beginning of November. So the United States became paralyzed of doing nothing against us because they was trying to watch the reputation. Now midterm elections are gone, so all bets are off. All bets are off, and President Obrador just officially became, president elect 2 days ago, well, 3 days ago. So it's like, so there's nothing certain. As I make this video, we already got the troops at the border, so so anything can happen while you keep praying and crying for fucking Palestine. It just make no sense at all. So that was the consultation. That it was a survey. It was a survey. It was not elections. It was not political elections. It was just a survey where, typically the white people in my country, aka the capitalist, the Eurocentric Mexicans, they refuse to go and give their opinion about the cancellation of that obscene airport, which we don't need in a country with, we have, like I say, 60 million people starving to death, literally. I'm not exaggerating. So a lot of the people we lost is because they commit suicide, especially indigenous people. They just like, they don't see any other way. So yeah, I mean, racism in my country is no joke. When you are indigenous, it's just like, it's just not. They can't catch a break, including, they're infiltrated. So their own people, it's their worst enemy too. So anyway, so this consultation, we already had two consultations, and it's as easy as downloading the app on your smartphone and using your or voting card, which I have mines, and I did vote for Morena and President Lopez Obrador. So this year, July 1st. So that was it. All you had to do was that. But there was two reasons why a lot of people didn't go out and vote, compared to, we were 125 million Mexicans, like I say, in Mexico. So it was because the so-called mainstream media refused to promote it, and that was one of the factors. I mean, they could have, like, if they wanted to win, and have that airport continue, which, I mean, we don't even got the money to build that airport alone. I mean, just the fence that surround the airport, uh, it cost about 95% more than what they already had budgeted us. They budget us one price, and by the time the fence that surround the airport, it was, I think, more than 95% more than the price they had already told us. So it's shameless corruption that they don't even tell us. But you're going to see throughout these articles, which I'm going to start speeding it up, because I just want you to see. Um, yeah, this is a lie. You can Google it right now. That is not true. Let me look it up right now. No, it will be a lot. It will take a lot of time. How to put the Mexican market. I type very, but you can do that. You can do that. I'm just gonna, like, tell you what is one of the biggest lies. These people who write these articles, they should not be called journalists. They should be called terrorists, because they are really inciting violence against Mexico from the United States government. This is basically what these articles are about. You see, Mexico is ungovernable. We have to invade Mexico. And this is what people are doing by writing these outrageous articles, So Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, or President Lopez Obrador, skeptics had hoped that the absence of strong political checks and balances financial markets will constrain him. The absence, there's no such thing as an absence of strong political checks and balances. Like, we don't even have a Mexican bank, a national bank, because these thieves that rule our country, which was supposed to be an alternation of two political parties, which they was always in cahoots. So there was no alternate government. So they have left us a debt of almost $14 billion. So there's I don't mention that in these articles. So we are receiving a country that is bankrupt in every sense of the word. Morally bankrupt, economically. I mean, ethically bankrupt too, because a lot of the people got corrupted so bad that, like I say, Mexican life don't matter one bit. Um, The central bank raised interest rates after the airport vote, which will slow the economy and oblige the government to pay more to bond holders. This is the thing that they started selling bonds on that atrocity that was not approved by the people. If that was the case, that they would have won in the consultation, right? After November 26, when the stock market fell by 4%, the government calmed investors somewhat by promoting two respected officials, which is all that, you know, I mean, it is not scientific. Say, promoting. No, he picked the leaders of the armed forces. That's what he did. So as he should. I mean, in Mexico, we have a 5-month period to transition from one government to the next. The budget due to be presented to Congress by December 15 will give the new government a chance to show that it's serious about fiscal stability, said Gabriel Lozano of JP Morgan, a bank. Wait, a bank? I think they meant JP Morgan Bank. I don't know. But many of Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador's allies see stability as the continuation of an unjust status quo. This is beyond, beyond enraging. This is a fucking lie. You know, it's just like, how are we going to see stability as a continuation of an unjust status quo? No, what we don't want is for them to continue to rob us of not only our what is ours, but what is our grandchildren's, our great grandchildren's. It's not just ours. And anyway, I'll continue. Ricardo Monreal, the leader of Morena in the Senate, said that many firms' profit are too high and that regulations are needed to disturb their accumulation of wealth. Exactly. We have a 1% that is telling us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and starving us to death, just like here in the United States and throughout the whole world, where Europeans have been or continue to manipulate behind the scenes, right? Markets will change their minds when they see how Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador governs. He said, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, crime busting army. Another, like, he kept saying the same thing. He was going to consolidate all the armed forces in Mexico. And as soon as he, of course, said it, as he was getting closer to inauguration, then that's when now if they even got the United States to attempt to condemn something that they don't even know what it is. And this was before he became president. He's only been president for 3 days, mind you. The new president is certainly energetic. He has assented to an updated version of the North American Free Trade Agreement with Canada and the United States. He put forward 50 ideas for curbing corruption and promoting thrift in the public sector, and is beginning to implement them. He will cut his own salary by 60% and cut the pay of senior city civil servants to that level as the Mexican constitution mandates. This I added myself. This is in our constitution. It was never enforced. That's all he did. And of course he made sure that he passed all these austerity. Is that how you say austerity package? He had unveiled crime fighting plan that include creating 50,000 strong National Guard under military command. Morena had proposed a bill to legislate cannabis. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador intend to give apprenticeship to to jobless youth and high pensions to the age to senior citizens. His many projects include a tourist train through the south and a refinery in his home state of Tabasco. He don't even say the name of the train, so that's how much he wants to promote. He wishes us the worst. That's You can see that throughout the article. AMLO is pursuing his goals through an unconventional combination of congressional deliberation and direct democracy. Congress passed the law that caps bureaucrats' pay, but Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador plans to put most big decisions and many small ones directly to the people. The tourist train and refinery were approved in a vote on November 24th and November 25th, which attracted the same tiny fraction of electorate that the airport consulted. Yeah, because it was not a vote. It was not a vote. It was a consult. I say, and this is the catch. This is the no. This is the punchline. There's like about 50 countries throughout the world who do this, but only when we do it or when Venezuela do uh, these referendums. Oh, it's just unacceptable. They What they're really trying to say is that non-white people, uh, we don't have any credibility, or we don't have any honor, or we don't have any prestige to be consulting. But when like northern European countries do it, it is great, and you can look it up too. Voters approve 8 other schemes. They call them schemes. So you see how much he like Mexicans. Of course he don't. Including a ballot proposal to plant fruit and wood tree across 1 million acres, creating 400,000 permanent jobs. There's going to be so many jobs. That's why I want all Black Americans to come uh, to my country, and or just to add Mexico to your equation, because you seem like in your equation you feel like the United States, it's a fixed part of your equation, and it's not. There's many other options, like Bolivia, who is doing unbelievably well, and they already did what we're about to be doing. So you need to catch up. You need to get out of your bullshit. Well, it is attention deficit disorder. I mean, what else it is? Their consult is scheduled for March. Voters will probably approve the National Guard, which is contentious. Um, Human rights activists and Supreme Court do not think the army should be involved in policing. Well, right now, what happened is that the Mexican police is way underpaid and way undertrained, and and those two factors make it very vulnerable to corruption. So, and I mean, corruption starts at the top, right? If the president and the governors are corrupt, then the mayors and everybody else is gonna say like, fuck it, we can we can do it too. So that's what we're starting. That's what we're starting at the top. Um, yeah, the maximum salary a public servant can earn is gonna be 106,000 pesos a month, and they're still crying. I don't know how much it is in dollars, but 106,000 pesos a month is nothing to be, you know. I mean, it is something, and we what we're trying to do is to separate the economical power from the political power. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what our president was campaigning about. He said it many times. So that's why we voted for him. So he got a mandate from us, from the people. And now he shouldn't even have to do these consultations, but he do it just because he want to open it up to the people. Because he had the power to stop that airport without any consultation as the president of Mexico. But they are trying to create a storm just with a little glass of water. So this I haven't, I haven't read. I haven't read that the president is singing a different tune. No, the reason that consolidating all the armed forces is because they obviously the military is the best trained of them all. It's just that they don't have a training to deal with the people. So the military and the army, the navy, and all the stuff, they will get civil police training. So it's a lot easier, and it's gonna be we get a lot more. And just between you and I, the reason why we need the National Guard is to protect our soil from these corporations that right now they're displacing our people or indigenous people from their lands so they can, because it's all everything is being concession away, especially by the last so illegal president Peña Nieto. So anyway, I'll continue. He planned to let people vote on whether to prosecute former presidents for corruption, but says confusingly that he is against it. Yes, I'm against going on a wild goose chase when all these illegal, illegitimate, illegitimate, is that how you say that? Presidents are protected by the United States. We have about three Mexican presidents here who are lecturing at Harvard University and all these freaking universities. So, and we don't have that kind of time. We got 6 years to make a reform from the roots. That's what we call ourselves radicals. We call ourselves radicals because radical means root base change. And that's what we want. We don't want nothing cosmetic or nothing, just a little branches. No, weed it out. Yes, he's going to have a consultation in 2 years saying that if we want him out, we can get him out because he's not going to be fighting. And he didn't fight to win these elections. He told us that. He told us that if there's fraud again, electoral fraud again, I'm not going to lift a finger this time. I'm just going home. He's from the South, and I'm just going home, and that's it. That's it, because he realized that that his dignity, he gotta have his dignity. He's not gonna be like, if the people actually don't do to stop the electoral fraud, then he say, well, you don't deserve me. And he was right. Yeah. Okay. The referendums marginalize Congress. Yes, right. A bill to undo educational reform, one of the few popular achievements of the outgoing government, will be introduced in mid-December. He, the illicit president, last president Peña Nieto, uh, he spent about, I forgot how many, like $50 million, or well, that's too much, probably $10 million in publicity to pass his reforms, which there was part of a bill that it was called Pacto por México, the Pact for Mexico. And it turned out it was exactly, we was the only one who didn't sign that bill, and we became demonized because it was a bill against the people of Mexico completely, including that education reform that he's talking about, which is nothing but just getting rid of the great teachers that we have left by giving them these evaluations. So it was to humiliate. This education reform was to humiliate teachers and get them out. The last president also got rid of the free educational system that we got for, I don't know, 60, 80 years. I forgot how many. Our education was free. I went to school for free. And it was like, I mean, I think I have like a learning disability or some shit, but it was okay. And they will give you a sandwich and a glass of milk. So so it was like you didn't have to buy books, nothing. And the books had a lot of of indigenous stuff in it. So it was like, I remember the pictures and stuff. Congress passed a law that allow Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador to name super delegates, which all the governors, they are like, it put a nanny for these governors who is that are stealing a lot of money. Okay, here's Atlantic, and I'm gonna go really, really fast. The U.S. Mexico relationships is about to get weirder. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, the incoming president, is a nationalist and a populist. Andres Martinez, this spick, despicable spick. I don't know who he is. So, and look at the picture that he chose, right? I mean, an angry president, right? Yeah, it's just like it's universal. Betrayal is universal. The United States is threatening to close the border with Mexico to prevent entry of Central Americans seeking asylum and to shut down the government if Congress don't finance the border wall, which I'm all for the wall. We should be like two walls of China and do not allow no freaking Europeans in our country and nobody with an Eurocentric uh, mindset, just like they're doing in Bolivia. In Bolivia, Presidente Evo Morales, if you don't behave, you get your ass deported like this. It's very easy to get deported in Bolivia. You gotta walk straight line in Bolivia. So that's what we need to do. All this in the same week that he intend to sign a new revised North America Free Trade Agreement, rebranded USMCA, for United States, Mexico, and Canada, which is like literally these thugs. They're like Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador is a nationalist, populist, and again, there's no evidence for this, nothing. Through of a more proletarian variety. I'm on fucking welfare. It doesn't get any more, socialist than that. AMLO ha been busy president elect in ways alarming to financial markets. Lies, lies. We got BlackRock over there, and BlackRock, unfortunately, it got a lot of money in Mexico. So, but they haven't complained, nothing. We continue to have conversations with them, with BlackRock and all the other gangsters. He held a consulta popular referendum of no legal standing, and mostly among his supporters to ratify his decision to scratch Mexico's $13 billion new international airport. Yeah, it was $13 billion airport. Shit, I thought it was pesos. AMLO's process disregard for existing contracts construction was well underway. Shit, 50, you got the freaking wall around. That was it. Freaking trucks sinking. It's a swamp. It's a swamp. Texcoco used to be a lake, and now it's a swamp. And it's really fertile land too because of that. So, but anyway, and warnings to get used to hearing from the people more often led to a slide in the Mexican stock market and the value of the peso. Bitch, please. We had one of the smoothest presidential transitions and political party transitions in the history of the damn world. So, I mean, they're trying to, blind you saying that, you know, bitch, please, every time you change, unless in the United States that, you can either vote white or you can vote white. So in the United States, there's really, and even so, I remember seeing some stock market ups and downs, during transition, but anyway, so Andrés Manuel López Obrador second consulta popular appeared to prove the people's desire for his cherished high-speed train, the Tren Maya, which is like that's the unofficial name is known as Tren Maya. So you can all go down in the south of Mexico and take the train to every Mayan archaeological site, which is it's like, of course they don't like it because our indigenous people are going to be making profits now, and we are actually planning to put our indigenous people on top, and the rest of us, we're going to be following them as it is right now. But right now they ain't getting paid for what the work they're doing, protecting our water, our culture, our languages. These nations, are precious and they are priceless. They resisted, every possible torture known to man, and the only reason they survived because they're smart as fuck. They knew how to fight. The Mayan resistance, when the Spaniards came, they will get him into one town, and they was already ready in the other towns waiting for them. So and the ones that worst came to worst, they went to the mountains and they hid in the mountains. So we have a very alive and well population of indigenous, native, original peoples, original Mexicans. So it is delightful, and they was part of the inauguration ceremony, which I'm gonna try to play you a little bit of video. I'm running really behind. I don't know how people they do it so fast. So yeah, we're gonna have internet and healthcare, uh, you know, which is like free healthcare for everybody. You guys should be jealous, and you don't lose your United States citizenship if you get Mexican citizenship. If you get Mexican citizenship, you can have free education, free healthcare, free internet. I mean, it's like I'm selling it to you. Oh no, but you only want to be with the damn crackers, don't you? Fucking disgusting, Eurocentric. Ugh. The president elect would like to amend Mexico's constitution to allow for more frequent and formal referenda. Yeah, like they do it in, like I say, like there's at least 40 countries doing it already. This system is it's called participative democracy, democracy or whatever they say, democracia participativa, así se llama. So it's no big deal, but when we do it because we ain't white, that's when we're reminded when we ain't white. It's like, you can't do that, you cannot do that, But all the freaking European countries, they do it, no problem. He also planned to create an official super delegate. I already told you that. Governments see this as an incursion into their sovereign affairs violations. Yeah, because they want to steal money. Talking about the super delegates, right? Yeah. Uh, Mexico's fourth transformation, the previous three, refer to watershed moments in Mexican history, including its achievement of independence. That was the first one. The second one was the Mexican Revolution, 20 years. And the third one was when we nationalized our oil and our soil. And now we betray all our ancestors. That die, millions die during the Mexican Revolution. And for what? So now we got to make justice to our ancestors who die happily for us to have, dignity. It should be quite a spectacle. That's what this pic say. This Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador presidency, if a rather scary one for anyone who is paid in pesos, hold investments in Mexico. First of all, right off the bat, there's going to be a whole belt at the border, at the northern border, where we're going to be matching the salaries from the other side of the border. So fuck you, Spick, whatever your fucking name is. Um, During Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador 5-month transition since July triumph at the poll, the true men have stuck a cordial note. We're talking about with Trump. Yeah, he's been like silk, your orange president, but things could now turn sour very quickly. Of course, here we go. Shit. I mean, like this is what he is repeating what Jorge Ramos, that despicable journalist, and I use that word very loosely. Both Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador and Trump may conspire unwittingly to a search of migrant leaving Mexico for work in the United States if they persist with policies that dissuade job creation in Mexico. Bitch, please. They've tried it. They tried it to tell us that the Central Americans, there was the devil incarnated, whatever. Most of us, the majority of the population, we didn't believe for 1 second. Most came out even with mariachi bands to greet them, with plates full of food, even with beans that we found out they hate beans because they think that a lot of them, they think they're white, so they hate our food. They want to have white food. So but we know that they are not a monolith, and yes, there's some of them that they're very Eurocentric, especially the gay ones that they will sell their own country in a flash. Even before taking office, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador scare off investors with his disregard for the rule and law of property rights. Where, where, bitch? You think this wouldn't make global headlines? You don't think this would have like made like you know? Yeah, I don't know, like Trump, meanwhile, has repeatedly used his bully pulpit to browbeat United States corporations that invest in Mexico, most recently attacking General Motors' decision to close plants in the United States, plants that produce unpopular sedans that aren't selling. That's the only truth, he said, while keeping other plants open in Mexico. Well, shit, you still, you know, there's no freaking way. As long as you're talking about money, nobody is going to be in solidarity with Trump's policies. Hell no, because their religion is money and power. And of course, there's so-called oh shit, I lost that. Border crisis. The Pew Research Center reported this week that the number of undocumented immigrants in the United States peaked in 2007 at 12.2 million and is now down to 10.7 million. Yeah, right. How they know that? Please. But Trump seemed far more eager to exaggerate the migration problem for political gain, and AMLO, a few grandstanders seem unlikely to turn the other cheek. You know, and instead of being happy, this is the scumbag. Andres Martinez is a professor of practice at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication in Arizona State University, and he sucked Cracker's dick. So, rookie's errors. This is the Economist. Another piece of slander. Since winning Mexico's presidential election in July, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, a left-wing populist, being in power but not in office. So what? They want him to stay for 5 months, scratching his balls or something. You cannot please nobody. In October, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, as he is known, AMLO, summoned um, Mexicans to vote on, whether to cancel a huge airport under construction for Mexico City. It's not voting. They keep saying it's a small sample vote to scrap it, promise to do so, thus preventing the expansion of links between Mexico and the outside world. So they don't even waste time or ink. They they go straight for the jugular. Yeah, he's committing suicide. He gotta open his legs. I mean, open the doors to all the fucking crackers, just like Wakanda, right? Oh, that's why people love Wakanda, where they assassinate the only honorable character in the whole damn movie, who spoke like Dr. Umar Johnson, who spoke like the honorable Malcolm X, and even they gave him that ridiculous haircut. You would think that Black Americans would have been enraged. Oh no, they ate it up just like Kool-Aid. Blah blah blah. 60% cars. I already told you that. Let me see. Yes, it's all the presidents, the illegal presidents, of the United States in um, force on us for decades. Yeah, the airport fiasco, which is not our fiasco, is the previous administration's fiasco, which they've been trying to impose it on us for 40 years. They don't even say that. And our indigenous peoples, nations, they've been fighting against. There's like videos of repression with guns and bombs against the people around the Texcoco Lake. It's the same bullshit. 30% built, my ass. That's all they got is the wall and a little bit of the skeleton. The skeleton. That's where you see it from above. It's just a skeleton. There's nothing in it. Yeah, his cap on public salaries will drive talented people out. Bitch, please. Like we have no talent in the indigenous nations. Will not get the scrutiny they deserve. That's all the corporate media talk about every day, all day, 24/7. By putting many of them directly to the people, he reduced the chance that Congress or any other body will check his power. His power. I mean, what's preventing corporate media from inviting everybody to vote in these consultations? Oh, this took the motherfucking cake. On his pet projects, including a costly refinery in his home state of Tabasco. They don't want us to have refineries. They don't tell you that the Peña Nieto, he purposely left our 6 refineries that we got. He left them rot, gave him very little maintenance. So now we have to revamp and modernize these 6 refineries, and we are planning to open a new one. Uh, and they say that's costly. That's not profitable. Meanwhile, the United States got, guess how many? 180 refineries, oil refineries here, when the United States got no oil compared to us. So that don't make you angry, then you're stupid. How you gonna let this country bully us, the people of Mexico, into submission like that when we are the ones with the oil and we are forced to buy very expensive gasoline from the United States? How come none of these so-called journalists? Every day I hate journalists even more. If you're thinking of becoming a journalist, don't, unless you're actually going to speak up and say the truth. All these journalists, they got enough money, especially the non-white ones, to create their own platforms and newspapers if they consolidate it all together, but continue to stay with the CNNs and the CBS and the NBCs and all that bullshit. So they are just as guilty. They are just as guilty. I have no respect for these journalists. They ain't even journalists. They're columnists. They're columnists. They're just blogging from their luxury apartments. Yeah, they're trying to trip us with, you got to prosecute the ex-presidents. No, we don't. No, we don't. That's a wild goose chase. They're a mafia and they're protected by the United States. So we are not going to prosecute nobody unless the people go out and lynch them, in the street, which we have the right. We got to get the God given right to do so. Yeah, it's all this idiot is just speaking because he got a hole. Society that respect the rules of law do not decide by plebiscite whether to prosecute. Not all Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador's idea are bad. And now here it come, like I hate these conniving motherfuckers. First they stab you like 100 times and then they go like, oh, but there's something positive. How about the fact that we are the only resistance against Nazism or fascism or whatever you want to call it in the world? How about that? That we are a separate country, that we are not going to be allowed, what's it called? Sabotage. Yeah, so that was the positive. It didn't really last. How long it lasts? Not all ideas are bad. This is a centralized public procurement could discourage corruption. The chief staff and his incumbent ministries of finance and foreign affairs are competent, blah, blah, blah. And then, he seemed uninterested in institution building. Where he got that from? It's just like, these are terrorists. These are fucking terrorists. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You see, a president with messianic tendencies. Mexico come to regret this. They all have died. They are wishing us the worst. Well, fuck you all. And I wish you the same. If you wish our demise, I wish you the same. I don't have to take your fucking bullshit. We are protecting ourselves, by the way. You know, thank God, or indigenous people, they know how to. And that's another strategy, just another strategy. This was one of the videos that were circulating before December 1st. There was very little coverage. We didn't make any cover of any newspaper. I bought them all. I spent $10.50 buying the three major papers, including the New York Times. Nothing, nothing. Ignore. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
The night of his landslide victory, capturing about 53% of the vote in the 2018 presidential elections, Andrés Manuel López Obrador promised to govern for all Mexicans, especially the poorest ones.
This will be a government of the people, for the people, and with the people. We will apply these three basic principles: no lying, no stealing, and no betraying the people.
That last line won him the trust of most Mexicans. His critics say it's proof he's a populist. Andrés Manuel López Obrador was born November 13th, 1953, in the fishing village of Tepetitan. It's located in the Gulf Coast state of Tabasco. A river named after the town runs through here. Mexico's next president was raised by middle-class parents in this maroon-colored home. They were merchants. As with most traditional Mexican families, López Obrador, as a boy, spent long afternoons in this home, sharing time with his grandparents. Baseball is the favorite pastime here. López Obrador played center field, third base, and catcher. His talent as a home run hitter earned him the nickname the Grinder. López Obrador's childhood friend, Victor Reyes Torres, was the pitcher who once purposefully threw a wild pitch that struck AMLO, forcing him to walk to first base.
As a boy, López Obrador was really good to us. He did not treat us as less than him, even though his family had more. He spent time with us, even after he left to study in Villahermosa.
López Obrador's political career began when he joined Mexico's ruling party, the PRI, in 1976. He made two failed attempts to become governor of Tabasco State, the first in 1994. He left the PRI in 1996. 4 years later, he won the mayor's race in Mexico City. In 2004, President Vicente Fox accused López Obrador of breaking a law and tried blocking him from running for the presidency. In 2006, he lost his first run for president by the slim margin of 0.58% of the vote. López Obrador lost again in 2012, this time to his nemesis, the PRI. But years of visiting Mexico cities, towns, and villages raised his profile. He founded the Morena Party in 2014. In Tepetitan, Maria Cruz Dominguez, one of AMLO's former neighbors, hopes he will not.
They don't even say, he lost uh, two presidential elections amidst huge rumors of electoral fraud. They cannot even say that. Why? Because, like I say, all these presidents are CIA agents. So they want us to go after them and prosecute the ex-presidents. Look at Haiti. They're trying to prosecute the ex-president. They just got robbed of almost $3 billion in Haiti and a Petrocaribe scam.
Forget his home state now that he has reached the highest seat of power.
Of all the presidents there have been, none has done a thing for the South. It's always for the north of the country. We want him to do something for us here in the Southeast, and it's in his plans.
Residents are waiting to see if Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador will keep one of his special promises to build a dock right here on the shores of this river where he once played as a boy. Frank Contreras, CGTN, Tepetitan, Mexico.
Okay, so let me go now back to Twitter. We've seen this. I have another little video to play you. Um, but first, I want to do some of these videos I got here. Yeah, this is what I already showed to you. Yeah, like this is another crazy one. This woman, she is exposing racism in the toy industry. Uh, but she don't say we're gonna be building. You know, I was hoping that she was gonna say, hey, anybody who wanna consolidate, we can open our own toy factory.
They have a book, extra clothing. They all come in accessories. We even have a ballerina up here. But one thing that you don't see is the accessories for the black doll. Out of all the dolls here, she's the only one without accessories. She's the exact same price as everything else, but she doesn't have accessories. The name of this company is Our Generation. Exactly what are you trying to tell our generation? These all come with books. The black one has nothing. You tell me what this says to you. Thank you.
Well, the crazy thing is just like I say, it's just the fact that she's actually surprised. She looks surprised. She looks shocked. It's like, it's just like 300 years and still surprised. It's like, us Mexicans, we still speak. So it's like, when they call us rapists and shit like that, I mean, we got angry, but not surprised because they already even stole half of our countries. So we already know what kind of shit it is. So this one is a woman in Target. She just started in their conversation.
What exactly did we say?
That's what you screamed out loud. I said that you were having sex in public. No,
That is not what we said.
Where is your hearing aid today, honey? Because you're not hearing me.
I said, try this on because this looks like something Eartha Kitt. I don't want to be compared to Eartha Kitt because
I
she
don't
had
understand.
sex.
This is what you guys
That's
do.
what I'm asking. No, that's what I'm asking. What
this
does
woman
say
any longer,
specifically?
please. I want us to stop
Okay,
engaging
well,
with
come
this
on.
woman.
Let's stop.
Let's have finish
Yes,
with the
let's stop engaging with her, please. Just stop. Thank you.
So this is Black Twitter 24/7 showing videos that are awful. I mean, you can clearly see that the anti-blackness level being it's on the rise. It's on the rise, and still keep putting these videos. Like, at this point, I really don't know what's the purpose of putting these videos because um, I don't think it's helping. at all.
Yeah, we have a problem. Yes, ma'am. We were standing here talking, and I made a reference to Eartha Kitt. No, I can't. Ma'am, I made a reference to Eartha Kitt, and my friend said, I don't want to be compared to Eartha Kitt because she had sex in a movie with her. And then she said,
Okay, I know you're trained on lying. I know you're trained on lying. Yeah. Good job. We are. You're perfect for the court system. You guys should all go to court.
Now we're perfect for the court system.
Because you're trained liars.
We asked her to move. We said, please leave. And then she attacked us.
Actually, they said they were going to leave. They actually said they were going to leave. And when I said good, I was glad they were leaving because they were
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. You know, I mean, they're entitled. They say, you know, this one is in London or some shit like that. The new, you know, like the other one, like Pepe the Frog, whatever, that got punched in the face.
Obviously had time to research into it. Did you find any hate speech? Temporarily halt Muslim immigration to this country.
You think this is a British community, or you might have British Muslims? They are enemy combatants in these houses. What is hate speech? In these houses are enemy combatants who want to kill you, maim you, and destroy you. It's not a refugee crisis, it's an invasion of Europe by military aid Muslims. What they're doing now in our country is raping their way through it. Taking a Syrian refugee, I hope you don't get raped. Because I love that face. Look at that. I don't know. Okay, so what have they ever said that's racist? Enemy are here. Mo Farah, the first time I heard Mo Farah come out, he said he's made to feel like an alien. No, Mo, it's because the people from your home country, Somalia, are backward barbarians.
So let's not pretend we're important from us. We're not. We're important barbarians.
Since day one, since day dot, I've not changed anything for what I've stood for what I've said. Not a single thing.
Every single Muslim watching this video on YouTube, on 7/7, you got away with killing and maiming British citizens.
That offence was 10 years ago. I've not changed anything. Not a single thing. Has anyone from these offensively killed anyone?
Osborne was motivated by Islamophobia.
A British Muslim.
And during the weeks before the atrocity, Osborne received messages from Tommy Robinson, the founder of the English Defence.
Because you're walking London, I walk around London, I speak, where are the men? Where are the English people? It's not an English city anymore anyway.
As a group of worshippers gathered in the street, he struck.
Darren Osborne said that he and the two other men chose Finsbury Park because it was within Jeremy Corbyn's constituency, adding, and if Sadiq Khan had been there, it would have been like winning the lottery.
His country, his capital. It's not your country or your capital. You're part of an invasion into our country, Sadiq.
Did you find any hate speech?
So, and like that, there's every day there's a new star rising from the extreme right, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, yeah, stores selling very realistic toy guns. I don't know if you want to watch that video. I mean, like, that's what they do. And these corporations, they don't get sanctioned. They don't get fined for that. This is the plane the illegitimate president of Mexico, Peña Nieto, bought. Its value, I don't know how many millions of dollars. We cannot even afford that. Look at that. I heard that even got a bedroom or something at one point. It's disgusting. You know, and the average Mexican make like $1.75 a day. Look at that. Just the parking where he's at, the plane is at. It cost us like $100 million, just the parking. I don't know what they call it. This is Reuters. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on Monday say he was working with the United States and Canada to create a three-way investment plan to tackle the issue of immigration from Mexico and Central America. So yeah, it came out yesterday, December 3rd. Yeah, he actually December 1st he signed another agreement with like 3 or 4 Central American countries also to have dialogue and see, but come on, those presidents, they're stealing everything. The United States has been gave um, look at this picture. This is the Mexico Institute, and look at the picture they put. You know, the only thing they was short of doing. Oh, it is the New York Times. The only show we're doing is to put a little mustache and put like a Hitler. Look at this. It came out December 2nd. I really don't have time. I wish I could have seen it before. It's okay. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Yeah, they're all already 2 days in office, and they already crying bloody murder. Matthew Lewis. Oh wow. Yeah, I forgot. This shit ain't working. Sorry, I don't mean to, but I wanted to. Yeah, the share button is not working. Oh, here it is. I just don't want to like forget about this article. Yeah, but just judging by that picture, come on. Come on. And this is from the New York Times. Now, can you imagine? Like I said, I'm not gonna like stop on this. I wanted to. This is another all right. This is from Bloomberg. Energy overhaul. I don't know if overhaul, I think you pronounce it. Yeah, I mean, that energy overhaul, what it was is that Peña Nieto, he changed the constitution to put hydrocarbon fuels in the NAFTA. So just imagine that. Okay, here's another video. So you can see that, this is just the plane. Oh, a fucking. It's an agent. Straight up agent. It's the same one, ain't it? I thought they was gonna show there's the bathroom.
Es informar la salida definitiva del avión del territorio nacional. Honramos el compromiso de campaña del hoy presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador de enajenar la aeronave y dar así un mejor uso al hangar que la ha albergado. Demostramos con hechos que la austeridad del gobierno federal es prioritaria en esta nueva administración.
I was hoping to find a video from the inauguration ceremony, but I don't. Look, there's more attacks from Europeans against black people. Yeah, I told you, a black woman, she got stabbed in Flatbush, waiting for the subway. So just that's it. They stabbed one of her lungs in Flatbush. So now you can imagine it was like well, she would have been in, I don't know, the Upper East Side, whatever. What is that like? Wow, but yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to show you, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is what black people are concerned. They're losing sleep with.
In social media messages, we began then to organize together. We brought a delegation of black activists to Palestine, and we saw the connections between the police in New York City, who were being trained by Israeli soldiers, and the type of policing we were experiencing in New York City. We began to see relationships of resistance, and we began to build and struggle and organize together. That spirit of solidarity, a solidarity that is bound up not just in ideology, but in action, is the way out. So as we stand here on the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the tragic commemoration of the Nakba, we have an opportunity to not just offer solidarity in words, but to commit to political action, grassroots action, local action, and international action that will give us what justice requires. And that is a free Palestine from the river to the sea. Thank you for your time.
So in line, I told you, this ratchet gay man, he went also after Dr. Say here, Dr. Francine Cress Wesling legacy, and he got fired from CNN from defending Palestine. Okay. Okay, so this is another one. Oh shit. I didn't see this one. Houston Chronicles, so you can imagine. Another vile attack, probably. Senator John Kernan, Republican from Texas. Yeah, we had I forgot how many, 28 countries, including the director of the United Nations, the high whatever commissioner of the United Nations. Yeah, I mean, it's like it was pretty close for a little while, between the president of China and the president of Russia, that they was dying to come over, but they decided to save their dignity and not to come. But they've been sending delegates saying that they want to, whatever, anything that we want, please feel free to. And I think we should. We need to stop looking up north. Let's see what she said. Yeah, I forgot about this. forgot I had saved some from December 1st. I was like, what's she saying? Oh.
Good morning. My name is David Sherp, and I am the director of the Master's Program in International Relations and the principal investigator for the Justice in Mexico program based at the Department of Political Science and International Relations. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone here at the University of San Diego to today's conference on Mexico's transition, what to expect from Mexico's next president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. It's also my pleasure to welcome those who are following us on Facebook Live. We're transmitting this for those who are unable to make it to the University of San Diego today because of the weather emergency that we are experiencing here. Of the López Obrador administration, and according to changes that have already begun to take place as the legislature took office in September of this year, we're going to see what looks like a much more centralized approach to governance. At the last conference that we hosted on this topic, Ambassador Jeffrey David talked about López Obrador not as a member of the left, but rather as someone who is grounded in Mexico's traditional governance style and governance approaches of the old PRI of the 1970s. And we've seen some moves.
Bullshit. They just like fast to generalize.
The test, and they had to work at it, and they don't copy it because that's what the figure is, and for me it opened a big window. So come 2006, 2007, the violence was horrible in Tijuana. A lot of people, most people from over there started moving to the States every day. It was like, we're leaving, we're not.
Yeah, this is gonna be a while. So yeah, I gotta copy it, but what I'm really hoping is that with our new administration, with especially with our the Mayan train that we're about to open in a couple of years, we get a lot of archaeologists from the African diaspora to come over Mexico and put everything into context. I believe we have not even excavated not even like 10% of the sites in Mexico and Central America.
Mexico will get a new president. Former mayor of Mexico City, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, will take office. But his road to the presidency was anything but easy. López Obrador, also known as AMLO, first had to prevail over the incumbent Mexican administration, run by the PRI, a political party that has governed Mexico for most of the last century. After numerous corruption scandals and a failed war on drugs that's killed almost 200,000 people since 2006, López Obrador was hoping the Mexican people were hungry for change. In this episode, we'll discuss how the political outsider AMLO rose to the highest office in Mexican politics. AMLO grew up in the state of Tabasco, the epicenter of Mexico's oil industry. His father worked in the industry and was able to provide AMLO with a middle-class childhood. AMLO became involved in politics and activism during his 20s, when he took a job as a representative of the National Indigenous Institute. While working there, he lived among the Chontal Maya, an indigenous population of Tabasco who are some of Mexico's most impoverished people. AMLO lived and worked with them for 6 years, building a foundation for his political career while sleeping on a hammock in a dirt floor shack with his first wife, Rocío Beltrán Medina. Eventually, AMLO continued his political work within the PRI's progressive wing. The party was pretty much Mexico's only game in town for ambitious young people looking to make a political impact. During his time in the PRI, AMLO represented the state of Tabasco in negotiations with state-run oil company Pemex, organizing local oil workers to demand higher wages and benefits from the company. In 1983, AMLO left the PRI, frustrated with the difficulty of making change from within Mexico's dominant political party. 5 years later, he joined the left-wing party of the Democratic Revolution. He ran for governor of Tabasco in 1988 and 1994. Both times ended in failure, but he persisted. In the 1990s, he organized actions like a 6-week march from Tabasco to Mexico City, which was meant to show support for free and fair elections, and blockades of oil facilities, which was to protest the industry's negative environmental impact on local farmers and fishermen. All this work on the front lines of activism raised AMLO's public profile in Mexico, and it eventually paid off. In 2000, AMLO finally won his first election, becoming mayor of Mexico City. During his tenure, AMLO's administration started providing stipends to senior citizens, built low-cost housing, subsidized subway fares, and opened new schools, including Mexico City's first state university. AMLO became overwhelmingly popular. He maintained an approval rating of over 70% throughout much of his 5-year term in office. This high approval rating made AMLO the frontrunner ahead of Mexico's 2006 presidential election. His platform during his 2006 run pledged to cut government salaries, as well as raise taxes on corporations and the wealthy in order to pay for social programs that would help the Mexican people. AMLO ultimately lost the 2006 election by less than 0.6% of the vote. Nevertheless, he claimed victory on election night and demanded a recount. AMLO also accused winning candidate Felipe Calderón of orchestrating election fraud.
Les propongo que aquí nos quedemos, que permanezcamos aquí día y noche hasta que se cuenten los votos y tengamos un presidente electo con la legalidad mínima que nos merecemos los mexicanos.
Mexico has a long history of election fraud, but the country instituted several reforms starting in the 1990s that eventually allowed for the PRI to be dislodged from power for the first time in 2000. After an election tribunal upheld the 2006 vote, AMLO still positioned himself as the, quote, legitimate president, and was inaugurated to a parallel government in Mexico City's Zócalo Square.
Se desconoce el cómputo oficial dado a conocer el día de hoy por el Tribunal Electoral del Poder Judicial de la Federación, que pretende legalizar el fraude cometido el 2 de julio de 2006.
AMLO went on to name a resistance cabinet to run his parallel government that proposed legislation, issued statements, and even held its own elections. AMLO toured the country for the next several years, eventually visiting all of Mexico's 2,438 municipalities. Heading into the 2012 election with a larger public profile, AMLO decided to present a more moderate platform and image, even though he still referred to himself as the legitimate president as late as 2011. One addition to his platform for this election was a new approach to the war on drugs that then President Calderón had started upon entering office in 2006. AMLO proposed the removal of drug cartel fighting army troops from the streets and said that the government's focus should instead be on tackling the root causes of crime and violence, lack of opportunity, and Mexico's poor education system. But ultimately, AMLO once again failed to take the presidency. Initially, he refused to accept the election results, which saw the PRI take power once again, with Enrique Peña Nieto at the helm. But this time, AMLO stopped short of declaring himself the legitimate president. After 12 years in the political wilderness, the PRI returned to power during an incredibly tumultuous time in the country, as decades of violence, corruption, and economic inequality reached a climax. In 2014, Peña Nieto and the PRI were directly implicated in multiple corruption scandals, leaving the incumbent administration incredibly unpopular. Meanwhile, AMLO broke with the PRD, his political home for over 20 years. He then set out to create a new political party, the Movement of National Regeneration, also known as Morena.
En esta nueva etapa de mi vida voy a dedicar toda mi imaginación y trabajo a la causa de la transformación de México. Lo haré desde el espacio que representa Morena.
And nationwide frustration with the PRI set the stage for AMLO's comeback. The multitude of crises in Mexico seemingly confirmed issues that AMLO had been discussing for decades, vindicating his agenda and making him the clear frontrunner for the 2018 election. And then finally, on his third attempt at Mexico's presidency, Andrés Manuel López Obrador won the 2018 election with over 53% of the vote. And he's entering with a mandate to tackle corruption, increase social spending, and transform the country's war on drugs.
Cambiará la estrategia fallida de combate a la inseguridad y a la violencia. Más que el uso de la fuerza, atenderemos las causas que originan la inseguridad y la violencia. Estoy convencido de que la forma más eficaz y más humana de enfrentar estos males exige necesariamente del combate a la desigualdad y a la pobreza.
But can AMLO successfully impact Mexico's problems? We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so there you have it. It's a nice short piece. It's hard to find material in English. So one of the statements he made, we have like a the equivalent of a White House. Over there we call it Los Pinos, the pine trees. And so right off the bat, at the same time, on that he was being sworn in into presidency. I thought there was going to be a video here. For some reason, no. He opened up the Los Pinos as recreation centers. So I was trying to look for a video about it. It was like, I think it was like, I don't know, like 30,000 Mexican or way more. A huge amount of people that went there. It was like people was partying and like whatever. I have mixed feeling about visiting these mansions. Like El Castillo de Chapultepec. We used to have a palace when they invited a European idiot to be our emperor. I don't know if familiar with that chapter, infamous chapter of our history. Yeah, I just feel like it's kind of like also going to those mansions in the South, like, I feel like, wow, it's just like so much pain in there and blood and sweat from the people, especially here in the United States, slavery and stuff that I really don't feel like going to. Oh, it did have a video. Oops. Too late. I gotta go faster because I gotta go. I gotta let you go, I mean. Let's see what this is. I think this is a video. Which is like people talking about, no, it ain't a video. It's just like it put us in really it's a very unfair situation that they put us against the fucking Nazi president of Brazil, you know? So it's very unfair because nobody, instead of you seeing that, you find any article from the media saying, like, you know, this is so great after, you know, our huge loss in Brazil. And I say ours, you know, talking about the people's loss, because Bolsonaro, he is the best friends with the prime minister of Israel, Netanyahu. So uh, so people should be ecstatic about us, you know, being the main people at the what's it called, you know, combating the Nazis. Look at this one. This one is kind of like crazy that actually they say this thing went viral. From Norway's Guilford High, the two Greensboro, North Carolina students use such profane language in their expression of racism. Most news outlets refuse to play the video. Look at this guy. He's touching himself. These are gays. Uh-oh, yeah, it's too much. That's like some fucking gay porn shit or something. I don't know. I think this one is good. I have some good videos, but I cannot find them. I can never find shit. I don't know how people they make it so easy.
So I just want you to explain what you mean by that. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the fuck I talk about when I say these things. Your people too. Explain it. Not everybody knows what you're talking about. Radio Raheem, I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I said by that. I ain't gotta go further. And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. You said that your people have been fighting for 100 years. And your people too. So I just want you to explain what you mean by that. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. You said that your people have been fighting for 100 years. And your people too. So I just want you to explain what you mean by that. You said that your people have been fighting for 100 years. And your people too. So I just want you to explain what you mean by that. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the fuck I talk about when I say these things. Your people too. Explain it. Not everybody knows what you're talking about. Radio Raheem, I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I said by that. I ain't gotta go further. And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. Go look up the history. Shit, don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what? I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. It's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day.
Oh, it's a very good account. Yeah, I love this account. Oh, this one. Oh, yes. Now it's got 5,400 views. Oh, you don't understand. Sorry, I forgot it was not. Yeah, we should understand. Yeah, I love this account. Oh my God. One of my idols.
Africa's never debated about you. You didn't. The things that white women are debating about now, Africa's never debated about you. You didn't debate about whether a woman was equal. Equal? Nobody was fool enough to debate whether a mother was equal to give up life. You gonna debate whether she's equal? That's stupid. You don't even bring up a stupid conversation like that. You debate whether your mother, your grandmother, you're equal. a Western man will debate something like that. Africans don't debate nothing like that. This is why the Africans had female gods earlier. You make a woman a god, you make a woman a god, then debate what she equal.
Wow. He never held his tongue. Oh yeah, like I told you, you know.
And we're going to say it after this, after I'm locked up, after everybody's locked up, that you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Aaron Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting. And if you do, you come up with answers that don't answer, explanations that don't explain. You come up with conclusions that don't conclude. And you come up with people that you thought should be acting like pigs, that's acting like people and moving on pigs. And that's what we've got to do. So we're going to see about Bobby, regardless of what these people think we should do. Because school is not important and work is not important. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all.
Wow. It's like right for today, right now. Chaka Khan. Wow. She's gorgeous. At 14 years old, Yvette Stevens, like Chaka Khan, befriended Fred Hampton in Chicago Black Panther Party. Yeah, December 4, 1969. Yeah, that's 49 years ago today. He was ambushed. Oh gosh. So I don't have anything else to show you. I wanted to talk about something, but oh, Miss Fannie Lou Hammer. I always love to find these little nuggets.
It's drinks with our blood. Because you see, flags is drinks with our blood. Because you see, so many of our ancestors was killed because we have never accepted slavery. We have to live on it, but we've never wanted it. So we know that this flag is drinks with our blood. So what the young people are saying now, give us a chance to be young men, respected as a man. As we know, this country was built on the black backs of black people across this country. And if we don't have it, you ain't gonna have it either, because we gonna tear it up. That's what they saying. And people ought to understand that. I don't see why they don't understand. They know what they've done to us. All across this country, they know what they've done to us.
I don't know, they're sociopaths. They just like people, that's our mistake, you know, we think they're human beings, but they're not. Yeah, well, I think I played this before, but I like to play it every time just to hear his voice.
America and go over to the east to Japan. They will be telling their fellow citizens of Japan, we leave America and go over to the east to Japan. They will be telling their fellow citizens of Japan of the wonderful accomplishments of the Japanese people, proving that man is moving onward as time moves on. But you have hated yourselves as you have done in previous years. You have shown malice, prejudice, and hate to each other. And the result is that while other races have made progress, while India has made progress towards nationalism, while Ireland has made progress towards republicanism, while the whole world has made progress in man's accomplishments, you still stand fighting yourselves, dishonoring yourselves, showing no disposition toward that higher life so that you will be abundantly blessed. So reflect and think that you were created for some purpose other than exhibiting malice toward your neighbor or fellow men of your own race. What a pity it is that we cannot stand united without the written law. There is no written law compelling other races to stand together. They are brought together by the gentle touch of nature. The unwritten law of nature causes them to stand together on all occasions. So wheresoever you'll find them in the field, that one gentle touch of nature causes them to stand together, if need be, die together. But with the black man, you can preach to him from the pulpits. You lecture from the platforms, from the byways and the hedges. The spirit of cooperation, but he will not cooperate. You talk to him gently, you try talking harshly to him, he still will not cooperate. The result is that he falls prey to those who understand themselves and walk through the world making you their serfs and slaves. We must acquire the higher knowledge of life.
Wow. Yeah, it leaves you speechless, right? Yeah, I don't know if you ever got to see that. This one came out like 6 months ago, and it's just like more of the same, you know, how Europeans.
Filed against the Stein Seed Company plot to ruin black farmers. That's one of the main allegations in a federal lawsuit filed against the Stein Seed Company plot to ruin black farmers. That's one of the main allegations in a federal lawsuit filed against the Stein Seed Company. This group of farmers say Stein and their distributors, who they met at a Memphis convention last year, pulled a bait and switch and sold them fake soybean seeds.
These farmers then started to notice that their soybean crops were not developing at the rate that was commensurate to what these certified seeds should have produced.
Thomas Burrell is one of the defendants and president of an association representing black farmers. He says he had the soybean seeds tested at Mississippi State. He says the test confirmed their suspicions.
They planted 100 of those seeds and 0 of those seeds germinated.
But he says it's not just a matter of financial fraud.
These seeds now have become weaponized, and they're becoming now what is called, what we refer to as a blunt instrument that is being used to annihilate, eradicate, and wipe out the remaining few black farmers.
While farming has declined for decades, the number of black farmers has dropped dramatically from nearly 1 million in the 1920s to around 30,000 today, according to the USDA. Thomas Burrell blames discrimination.
Wow, this one is more updated. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I hope they won. I love this account because they tell you about, you know, black-owned restaurants and products and stuff. So, you know, this one don't say where it's from. So yeah, Soul Foodie. They always have yeah, I mean, it's just like you better believe it. They're always gonna sabotage you. And I'm glad he used that word, you know, weaponized, because everybody's being weaponized, even your mother, even like anybody is being weaponized by the Europeans. That's what they do best. They will use, you know, whatever, you know, look at this. That's it. You know, dodge a bullet in Texas with this, you know, friend of Israel. So yeah, I don't think I got anything else. Let me just show you my own timeline. Oh shit, I was gonna do that from the other one because I still have tweets I haven't seen on that one. So just to let you know what else. Yeah, this one was kind of like crazy. That you know, black men are supposed to turn the other cheek, but it's a black man who's saying it. It's a black man who's saying it. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Go get the police. Who is this guy?
If a situation, guys, I'm talking to my guys. If a situation starts to escalate between you and a female, I don't care if it's your house, the Huddle House, or the Waffle House. Leave, go get the police, and says, I want this person removed. Because you lashing out, not only could it ruin you personally, it can also ruin your profession. He made a serious error in judgment. And his boys are doing everything they possibly can to restrain him because they know this could possibly end bad. Yeah. But the thing that makes Kareem Hunt such a great football player worked to his detriment in this situation. Sometimes when emotions are high, logic is low. See, Skip, at that very moment, it didn't matter to Kareem Hunt that he was an NFL player and a damn good one. It didn't matter what he stood to lose, that he stood more to lose than ever the game by getting to and putting his hand on this female. It didn't matter at that moment, no?
Wow. He actually said, go get the police so they can kill you. That's ridiculous. And this is what I'm talking about, you know. This is exactly what I'm talking about, you know, how. Oh, yeah, I had another video. I had two more videos I forgot to show you about the inauguration. Yeah, and I forgot to tell you the entire army, Mexican army, have pledged what's it called? Pledge, you know, alliance to our president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. So yeah, I don't have any views, right? I don't have any views. No. Damn, we've been talking for 2 hours. How you stop this? Anyway, so yeah, today's anniversary from the assassination of Hugh Newton. So, oh yeah, this is the same one I wanted to show you about the inauguration. I have to look it up. Oh, sorry. I really have to look it up. I cannot let you go like that. Let me see if I can find, if I find my channel, I can find you real quick. Because it's like right. Serva. Hija de la. Yeah, this is it. So I should be find me this video. I want to show you about the ceremony that he was greeted by 68 indigenous nations. So he ended up one of the leaders, one of the representatives, ended up breaking down, and we found out, you know, what he was saying, because we, of course, we don't speak our languages no more, and we don't understand each other. So he was saying that he was worried about him, and he sees him as his brother. The thing is that you know, he had to remove a very thick African accent that he had. I'm talking about our president Lopez Obrador. In the South, just like in a lot of you know, Caribbean countries and South American countries, um, they have still, a lot of the people have a very thick African accent. So he had to remove it, and it is really bad because he didn't remove it completely. Every now and then it come out, and people, just make fun of him, and it's just like, because we don't even have a concept of race, but we are very racist, even when we don't know what race is, because we call ourselves Mexicans, but Mexican is not a race. So it's a lot of work to be done, and I take this opportunity to invite you all to recover your territory. Like I always say, make America all make again. And when I say make America, I'm talking about the whole continent, because there's no such thing as America. It's the Americas. So you got to reclaim what's yours, and the entire world. But you can start, especially with the train, with the Mayan train. We're about to open a couple of years. It's going to be amazing, and you can do all the archaeological sites in less than a week if you must. But you definitely go, and my advice and my dream, it would be for have an African council, an African something to come over to Mexico and say, well, this is ours. We can see that this is very distinctively African. And if you take a trip down there in the Mayan archaeological sites, you will think you're in Africa for real. I mean, I've seen a lot of video. I never made it down there, but I've seen a lot of video, and you can easily tell it's African. So, I mean, you gotta be a strategic and everything. You see all the background, all the colorful decorations in the background. That's right now you can see in the background. These are the corn husk. This is corn husk. They just painted it out, and they made it because we are the children of the corn. That's our basic diet. Corn and beans is what we eat. I mean, I'm happy. Just give me a bowl of beans and some fresh tortillas, and that's all I need. I just really love it. So that's what it is. So, and yes, it's really crazy. That's his wife. Yes, even our president married a white woman. So it's just like I'm just giving you a little bit of um context. This is when they started a cleansing, and a purification. Actually, they arrived there like 4 days before, and they gave him a talking stick, which he was prepared at like the same day, like around 5 in the morning, and in the main temple of the Aztecs, El Templo Mayor. That's where it was prepared at 5 in the morning the same day. And he is a doctor, the one who's speaking right now. But okay, so he lost it, and he lost it because he was really worried. He said, "Be careful, because it's a this is a world of white people. This is not a world for us." That's what he was saying him, and so so it was surreal. It was very surreal, and that because it felt like he was overtaken by his spirit, because he just started getting very emotional, very like worried, and I wonder if it's not an omen, something that he saw. I wonder because that's very uncommon. Usually, indigenous people, they don't show around us a lot of emotions because it's just the same dynamics as if in the whole world, that against melanated people. I've seen videos where they even they see him at the malls and they kick him out. If they sit down in the staircases of the department stores, they come out with buckets of water and say that they're cleaning, and they're like, it just so it's very segregated. The Europeans, like I said in all the videos, they've been coming to Mexico and becoming Mexicans and buying a lot of land, and it always end up in in gated communities, so very exclusive. So this is like when they are like asking permission to all the gods from the east, from the north, from the south. So that's why they're pointing to each point, so they're asking permission, for a new government, and it was beautiful. This was within a few hours of him becoming officially president elect, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. So it was very, very important for him. And also at the same time, he met with other delegates from other indigenous nations in Mexico, and he is like I say, from the south. If you're from the south, even if the most Eurocentric, you know the struggles of the indigenous nations in the south. That I know because I've spoken to other people, so that they grew up because they're the majority. But it's kind of like South Africa. Still, the whites, they live in luxury and stuff. So it's like more blessings from the elders. Yeah. Uh, it's talking about that we share everything with all our brothers and sisters, and so I just wanted you to have a little. I wish they had an aerial view. We could see this is our main square. He was not supposed to be there until much later because he was supposed to go to our national palace, which is right there, and he was supposed to greet us from upstairs, from the balcony. He refused that. He refused that. He arrived in a beat up car to Congress where he took oath. He's been using the same car for a few years now. So this is when they give him the talking stick. You can see our god, Quetzalcoatl, which is represented as a feather snake. You've seen probably a feather snake. I have a few tattoos on my body, and so he's the recipient. And you can see this Becky. She's just clueless. A lot of times you can see her like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, but that's just the way it is. If we don't decolonize our mindset, everybody is gonna end up marrying Europeans. So this is that we want to be part of the government. We want to be part of the whole process. That's what they're saying. So here's where he got the talking stick. It's made out of it's called cedar tree. It's a fine wood. He went to cry too because that was his dream for a long time, to make him, the big, you know, and hopefully, I'll be damned if I'm not going to be fighting for them to get the place they deserve in our government and in our daily life. Oh, here's another one. I think it's the same one. I'm not sure if it's the same one or not.
Former mayor of Mexico City, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, will take office. But his road to the presidency was anything but easy.
Yeah.
Lopez Obrador, also known as AMLO.
It's the same one. Sorry. Yeah, I had it queued up over here. I went through all that. This faggot. Yeah, he's gay. It turned out that they actually trained him as an actor. They trained him as an actor. Peña Nieto. They gave him acting classes, walking. They taught him how to walk. They got him a wife because he's gay. They got him a wife through a catalog from all the actresses, all the Mexican actresses that were single, and they chose, that's his father and that's his mother, both deceased. He's 65 years old. This is when he was younger. He got a scholarship to go to study in Mexico City, and as soon as he finished the scholarship, he went back home and to apply everything he learned and start getting into politics. And his first job was at the Institute for Indigenous Affairs. So right off the bat, that was in 1970. You can see the fashions. Um, so then he ran for governor. They stole his election back then too for another corrupt puppet of the United States. Because you got to realize the southern part of Mexico is the richest one. It look a lot of like a lot of sometimes some parts of Africa. It's so like they have a saying over there. Oh, you drop a seed or you drop a pit from some fruit and it grow on its own and multiply. Like, and it's true. And it's true. They have fishes. They have a lot of fish. He was the one that they stole the presidency to in 2000. No, in 1996. I think he was the son of President Lázaro Cárdenas, the one I was telling you, he expropriated the nationalized our oil. Anyway, I'm not gonna repeat the whole thing again. So I think I'm done. Of course, there's no comments, there's no nothing, there's no views. Totally ignored. So yeah. So I'm really hoping that somebody watch this and that you consider my country, Mexico, because for you, for real, mi casa es tu casa. Yeah, this is really fucked up. I don't know if I showed you this already today. It's really trigger warning. Yeah, I think I should show it to you. It was another lynching, right? I show it to you. I'm not crazy. I've been here 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah, I show it to you online. Look, as she went to the graves of the Black Panther leaders. She went to Mark Clark's grave in Illinois. And she went to the site where Fred Hampton was executed. And she found they got a lot of gunshots and a lot of, it's crazy. Look at this. This is how his grave looked like today. Insane. I wouldn't want to stay in this country at all. So this is the place where 49 years ago he was executed in front of his pregnant wife of 8.5 month pregnant, I think she was. Pigs. You know, I was watching a documentary. There was only one gunshot, and it was when the gun dropped because they kill Mr. Clark, Mark Clark, and murdered him as he opened the door. Unbelievable. Oh my God, those pictures. You have a political star in Nigeria. Everybody was raving about that. What's his name? That he is very, he don't squander the money, so he's getting a lot of attention in Nigeria. I'm just trying to look for his name. Oh, here it is. Peter Obi. Peter Obi. Just boarding my flight. He greeted greeted all of us. Then proceeded to his seat in economy as usual, not at the front of economy. So, and everybody is saying yes, he is very modest, very, which is good. I'm hoping that he will be inspiring a lot of people. It's the same one I posted. He was only 21 years old. Fred Hampton, where he got assassinated. Yeah, I already showed you everything. So the only thing I'm missing left is to clock out. Oh, here it is a little bit. So you can see a little bit of our inauguration versus 2017 inauguration here in the United States. Yeah, the video is not very good. But there's going to be a movie coming out because there is one of our leaders who's been following him for years. He already made one documentary about the life of our president. This was in the inauguration ceremony. Like, no, not the inauguration, the swearing ceremony. I'm sorry. Oh, this was given a speech. Look at this. They are outraged because they're delaying a movie, a Hollywood movie. So that's what the that you see on Black Twitter. It's just bullshit. Wow. Put her hand in a dress. Wow. It's just crazy. ICE mistook Peter Brown's identity and wanted to deport him to Jamaica. And this Florida sheriff illegally jailed him to help ICE out. Peter reportedly told the jail that he is a U.S. citizen, but no one listened. Now he's suing. This is what I'm telling you. You were so happy to get rid of the pigs, but you're all getting deported too, or at least stopped.
When the realization of the severity of when the realization of the severity of the situation sunk in, I felt totally powerless. There was a moment where I panicked. I went from angry because nobody was listening to me to a really frightful moment because I was literally told at one moment that I was to sign this paper that they were tired of listening to me lying and that I had 3 days and I was being sent back to Jamaica. And so at that moment, being told you're getting to be shipped out of the country you're from to another country where you don't know, I don't know what I was being shipped there for. I didn't know who I was being shipped there in place of, and they're thinking I didn't know what I was being sent into. I just know I was being told I was being sent away from home, my home, to another country. So it was very scary.
I know I shouldn't be thinking this, but damn, he turned down a trip to Jamaica for free. I know. He was crying. He got really scared. But shit, I would have gone to Jamaica. If I get deported, I will say, I'm Jamaican. Look again. Superhero. According to them. Wow. They're hiring lobbyists in Amazon to make sure they stick it to us. Damn. It's ridiculous that we're fighting to get a corporation here in New York City in our backyard. We should be fighting to kick them out of the country. Amazon is shameless capitalist. So have a good night, everybody. Share with your friends this video if you find it, or just start the conversations. What is this? Oh, yes, this is good. He will defend his wife and kids. You know, I shoot to kill if you threaten my wife and kids. Duh. Anyway, have a good night.